Hello, everybody. This is Jane Klein, Director of Client Strategy at Counseling Wise, and I'm here to talk a little bit about how to choose photos and what to avoid on your new therapy website. So, I am starting off on this page because this page is actually a really quite lovely page of photos, and I didn't want to start off by frightening anybody. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about things to avoid and then things to pursue. So first we're going to talk about things to avoid, and these photos are not to be avoided. I'll end up here again at the end, but okay, what to avoid? So the first thing we want to avoid are overly staged photos. So we don't want phony things that are obviously not authentic. They're not real. Nobody really does that. These photos were staged for stock photography and they're just not succeeding. Don't put things like this on your website. You will live to regret it. You really will not. You won't like it. I'm just telling you how it is. So you don't want to have that kind of phony staged look on your site. Okay, that's one thing to avoid, phony and staged. Next thing to avoid is exaggerated and goofy. Well, these are exaggerated and goofy, but for example, this is kind of, if you look up anxiety and you have an anxiety page on your site, and then this almost looks so goofy as though the photo is making fun of the person's state of mind, and that's not where you want to go. So you never want to give the client the sense that you are in any way making fun of their emotion. Okay, a lot of the people that are coming to you are really desperate and they need empathy from a professional standpoint, and so you definitely want to avoid really overly exaggerated photos. Okay, so this is not what you want either. Okay, anything that could be construed as poking fun, that's not going to work either. So what does work then in this is just, we don't want to, humor doesn't work very well on therapy websites. You might have a great sense of humor in your life, in your personal time, and maybe even with your clients in session, but it's not going to come out well if you choose a photo that attempts humor. That's just not going to pull off. What does work well, by contrast? Something like that, right? Okay, so if I've been suffering from test anxiety all my life, to the point where it's affected my academic record, I break out into a sweat, I tremble so much that I can't really type on the computer or hold a calculator. Maybe I've been vomiting prior to the exams. That's probably what I'm feeling, and that's what you want. Is you want authenticity at all times. Okay. What else? Okay, so you don't want things that are silly. Okay, so for example, if somebody has a phobia and you treat phobias, don't be silly. Again, humor is very, very hard to pull off, and particularly on a therapy website. So you want to exude a sense of sophistication that comports with your education and your professionalism and your ability to empathize and truly understand and help a person deal with extremely dark forces inside of them. Okay, this is not working, so don't go there. Don't do things like words and check boxes or pencils and things like that. Those are not working either. Let's see what else. I think there's so things like computers don't show props. They don't tend to work. These behind the wheel and those don't work well. Nothing like that. Don't show props. They don't work very well at all. Okay, just think subtle, sophisticated, and authentic. Okay, and also, don't show truly frightening photos. So, well, here's the check boxes. Don't show that, and don't show things like this. But really, never show something like this. This is actually, if somebody has a phobia of types, or they have extreme anxiety, they don't want to, they don't need it to be mirrored back at them to this degree. Okay, that's just kind of creepy. So is this. You don't need to draw them in that much. Okay, and the lastly, white backgrounds. So again, these appear very staged. They just don't look like they're very real. And you want to come off at all costs as real. You care, and this is a little bit Barbie doll, right? It's a little bit unrealistic, and we don't want to go there. And again, you never stay away from silly. I could go on. There's a lot of bad photos on these stock photo sites. So I'm just trying to give you some tips and some ideas of what to avoid. Okay, so now I've done what to avoid. So then what do we recommend? Well, first of all, we recommend similar themes. So and people often ask us, do we show happy people or sad people? Okay, well, there's no real right or wrong answer to that, because in most businesses, in most marketing, 99% really, and you can look around and see for yourself, if you're selling anything from a Coke to a pair of Adidas shoes, you're going to want to show happy people, because happiness sells. Everybody wants to be happy. However, there's also a large body of research that says people want their own state of mind mirrored back to them. Okay, if our family hasn't been in the same room for 6 months, everybody's in their own on their own computer, we haven't eaten dinner together, you're filled with extreme anxiety about the situation, that you feel like your family no longer communicates, and you really want to pursue family therapy, you probably really don't want to. That's not mirroring back to that person what they're experiencing. On the other hand, some people don't feel comfortable having pictures of sad people on their website, and they want happy people, and that's fine. This, for example, is a perfectly fine choice. This would be, yeah, sure, it's staged, and sure the people are happy, and everybody's a little bit too beautiful probably for normal, but it doesn't look. It's not saccharine. Okay, so that would be fine. If you want happy on your site, go for it. On the other hand, this is just, it looks too fake, right? It's too phony. Nobody, that's very, very staged, and it just ends up looking like, that really doesn't exist like that, right? Like this, that's just too, it's over the top. Same here. Okay, that's saccharine, right? If you're going to go for a family shot, go for something like this. Okay, happiness. Now, if you would rather mirror, and for children, again, don't get silly, and don't nobody's gonna believe that, right? So how about this kid though? That's what everybody who has a little child, they want that. He looks authentic, right? He has a genuine, calm, confident happiness, but he hasn't been told to jump up in the air and like really work it. Come on, man, hurry up and be joyful, ready, get set, go. That's what this says. All right, it's just fake. We don't want to go there. Okay, so now again, so a lot of people will want to, this for example, again, that's how people really feel when they have a great deal of anxiety. This is also acceptable. Okay, and it's a personal choice. And if you really get stuck, a lot of times you can go for abstraction. Okay, you definitely can have something like hand gestures. You can have any type of black and white, for example, the like, depression page, this would be a fine choice. Okay, black and white. If you're going to go with black and white, you should really do it throughout your site. There shouldn't be one color page and one black and white, or a rotating set of shots. If you're going to go black and white, but you'll have an extremely beautiful site in the end. It'll be very subtle, and black and white is you can have abstraction. See, that also works. So that this could be maybe a depression page as well. Okay, this could be an anxiety page. You don't have to be literal with everything. This could be a ADHD page, for example. Let's see what else. These are very, very beautiful pictures. Okay, sometimes you just might want beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with that. Patterns. Okay, so lovely, right? There's nothing wrong with just saying, you know what, I don't want people on my site at all. I just want a place. What you want to do is you want to exude a feeling of calmness and tranquility. Okay, nobody wants to come onto a therapy site and be screamed at. Okay, neither in the photos nor in the fonts or in the layout. It should be calm, collected, professional, and a lot of times just a very beautiful a shot of just some patterns is enough. You don't have to say more than that. These succeed quite well. Okay. What else? Okay, I think I've covered everything. Feel free to run this by your project coordinators. Any of these would be perfectly acceptable. And keep in mind as well that if you do have a horizontal versus vertical, so most web pages, if you choose a vertical orientation, you're going to want to replicate that throughout the pages on your site. So people, when they come onto a well-built site, has pages that look similar to each other. It's not that some are horizontal and some are vertical and some are on the top of the page and some are at the bottom. People like the feeling of a well-done site. It has replicated the themes, the visual elements are replicated throughout the site. Again, Jane Klein, Director of Client Strategy at CounselingWise. I hope this has been helpful, and best of luck choosing photos for your Smart Therapy website program. Thanks very much.